and she's holding a dagger like she's getting ready to stab herself. In the other picture, she's already stabbed herself. Her dress is hanging loose, and there's blood coming out of her side. Lucretia's expression in the paintings is so sad. It just makes you feel sorry for her. Now, you probably know this, but if you don't, I'll tell you, because it's going to be important. Old paintings by famous artists are worth a lot of money. Millions. Sometimes millions and millions. So far, the artist whose painting has sold for the most money is a guy named Gustav Klimt, who painted pictures that have lots of little gold squares and twirls and things in the background. Anyway, one of his paintings sold for $135 million, if you can believe that. But Rembrandt's pictures are also worth a lot. As artists go, he's a very big deal. Let's say somebody found a painting by Rembrandt that nobody had discovered before. They could probably sell it for $20 or $30 million. Maybe more, depending on how beautiful and interesting it was. I'm telling you this because it's what makes everything else in the story make sense. The man in the galleries, the picture of the dead Lucretia, the car that almost ran over Lucas, the kidnapping, none of that would have happened if old paintings weren't worth a humongous amount of money. 2. Lucas the Lionheart. Lucas and I met 4 years ago, when we were both 10. We were taking a summer drawing course at a museum called the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, which everyone calls the Art Institute. I hated her right away. There were 8 of us in the class, all from different schools, so I didn't know anybody. Lucas and I had easels side by side, but we didn't start talking until it was almost lunch break. All morning we'd been working on drawing a basket with a bunch of fruit in it and some cherries scattered around the side. We were all kind of circled around this table with the fruit on it, so none of us could see anybody else's drawing. The teacher walked around and muttered privately to every student. When he was muttering to somebody on the other side of the room, Lucas turned to me and whispered, "This your first class?" I said, "Yeah." "This your first class?" She shook her head. "I've been taking classes for 3 years." I didn't say anything else for a while, so finally she said, "Can I see your drawing?" "Sure," I said, "if I can see yours." I was proud of what I'd done. I always felt like I was pretty good in art. My dad is a professional artist, and he helped me learn how to draw and paint. All my life, I gotten A's in art. Even that morning, the teacher had looked at my picture a few times and told me I was doing a good job. I was secretly hoping I'd be the best one in the class. So Lucas came over to my easel and said, "That's really good." And of course, I was proud. Then we went over to look at Lucas's picture. I couldn't believe it. She'd drawn the basket and the fruit perfectly. Perfectly. And she'd put in shading and even drawn the pattern in the tablecloth. It looked like something somebody would put a frame on and hang over their fireplace. It really ticked me off. I figured she just said my picture was good because she felt sorry for me. Okay, I admit it. I was also jealous because she was better than I was. It turned out she was better than anybody. She was the best in the whole class, easy. I think even the teacher was impressed. After that first morning, I didn't talk to Lucas the whole rest of the week. About a month later, I was standing in line to get a cone at an ice cream place near my house. Somebody behind me said, "Kari?" And I turned around, and there was Lucas. It was a surprise. Neither of us knew the other one lived in St. Paul. She went, well, I guess I should say she goes, to this really fancy private school. And I go to a regular public school. By the way, for those of you who are bad in geography, maybe I'd better explain that Minneapolis and St. Paul are right across the Mississippi River from each other. That's why they call them the Twin Cities. It's all like one big town, and people go back and forth all the time, so it's not a surprise that our class was at a museum in Minneapolis, even though we're from St. Paul. Anyway, we might not have gotten to be friends, even then, if it hadn't been for the idiot clerk in the ice cream shop. Here Lucas and I were, next in line, ready to buy ice cream cones, and the girl just ignored us. Yeah, we were only 10, but that wasn't any reason.